Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Tales of Darkness. This is hopefully going to be the first of 31 stories that I'm going to do in October. I know this may sound hard to believe, but several months ago I received a weird dream where I had a chance to talk with the darkness, as I've learned to call it. A demon, a jinn, whatever you want to call it. I guess it depends on your religion or your belief. Anyway, in this dream or vision, I got a chance to follow darkness and learn from it. See how it works and manipulates people. After this dream, I then had another similar one, kind of a continuation of the one before, or the one I'm about to read, which will be tomorrow's story. I wrote both of these several months ago. And then a few weeks ago, I had another dream where the darkness said that they would give me several more if I was willing to write them down and share them. So I accepted. And if I tell this one and the one tomorrow, they will from there on out give me one per night. I'll get a dream, I'll write it out the next morning, and then I'll record it and share it. And as long as I stick to this pattern, they will also stick to the pattern one per night. Is it going to work? I have no idea. It's not like you can really trust them, if you know what I mean. But I'm giving it a shot. So here we go with the first story. Some of my friends may have already, read this. But for those of you who are new, thank you for joining. I guess sit back and enjoy. And let's see where this takes us. The first story is called The Ride. Who are you? It growled, twisting around to face me in the dark. Why are you following us? I want to learn, I said, watching it closely. Learn what? I want to learn how you work, learn what you do, learn who you are. We are many, it said, moving towards me in the dark path before changing form. Legs stretched out below it, followed by arms and a head. Different wisps of dark vapors seemed to come together to form this creature before me. Within seconds, it had taken the shape of a man in a suit instead of the formless creature I had been following at first. What? Did you think we would come as a snake? Or some beast that frightens and threatens? A briefcase formed in its hands, and it gave me the most beautiful smile I had ever seen in my life. A sudden twinkle appeared in his eyes just as he winked. No, this isn't the way we work, if you're here for the truth. Reaching inside his jacket, he removed a card. Taking my hand I hadn't even realized I'd extended, he shook it vigorously and grinned. And if you're here for the truth, well, this is your lucky day, boy. I just so happen to have an opening in our class tonight. He let go of my hand, leaving the card in its place. As he turned and continued walking down the path, urging me to follow with a wave, I glanced down at the card. It simply read, No Return Incorporated. Open 24 hours, no appointment necessary. Slipping the card into my pocket, I quickly took off after him. I never noticed the car until we were already rolling down the road in silence. The white lines of the main street passed by effortlessly, reflecting off the window to my right. The security lights of the businesses, dark and closed for the night and locked up safely, shined in a flash across the hood of what was now a police cruiser. Seems wrong, doesn't it? It said. Glancing over, I watched as he formed himself into a police officer, dark vapors rising to take shape of arms until they were holding the steering wheel. He stared straight ahead with a slight grin and determination in his eyes. What seems wrong? I asked. With a slow turn, he pinned his gaze to mine. White cop? Reaching down to his side, he pulled out his gun and twirled it around a few times like a western cowboy before slapping it back into his holster. Blacktown? He nodded towards the window. Black men everywhere, walking down the streets, doing God knows what, and me, with a gun and the power to shoot them all? A sick feeling began to come over me as I let his words soak in. and I looked back out the window. They were everywhere. Black men by the hundreds were walking and standing around on the dark streets. Some of them were sitting on benches, others leaning against walls. Some remained in the shadows and others stood under the streetlights. All of them were staring straight at us as we drove by in a blur. Some had signs of fear in their eyes, and others showed signs of anger, hate, mistrust. "Do you feel safe, boy?" His grin softened in an effort to gain my trust. "Am I one of the good cops who cares about protecting and serving the public? Or am I after revenge for a fallen comrade?" He tightened his grip, turned his knuckles white. "Or am I nervous, thinking about my family and wondering what in the world I was thinking when I decided to be a cop? If I pull over this guy up here who just turned out in front of me, am I going to get a good citizen or a bad one? Can I trust him or not? Am I going to live through the night?" Before I could answer, he did it for me. Pulling out his gun and leaning closer, he pressed the end of the barrel to my temple. "You simply can't tell by looking, can you? Maybe you don't have enough information to tell. Well, too late. Bam! You're already dead because you couldn't tell and you didn't respond fast enough. That's how quickly it happens once the stop has been made." With a low, chilling laugh, he began to change again. The computer and video screens of the police car vanished, replaced by a cracked dash and a plastic Dallas Cowboy bobblehead figure attached to it. The spring was wore out on it, causing the head to sway in a circle more than bubble back and forth. "How comfortable are you now, boy?" The uniform changed to regular street clothes, and a black man now stared back at me. His hand was hanging on the top of the steering wheel in a loose grip. "Who am I? Are you comfortable now? Is this better?" He sneered, his brow lowering in anger as he turned his attention back to the road. "And what's going on? They're everywhere tonight. Is there some kind of police convention in town going on or something?" I looked back out the window. The white stripes of Main Street were still sliding by effortlessly, reflecting off the rusty hood. But instead of hundreds of black men now walking on the sidewalks, it was empty. No, there was no black men around. Instead, there were police cruisers sitting just inside the shadows of every dark alley we passed by. Others sat in the parking lots, convenience stores. Everywhere I looked, I saw another cruiser, and I could feel the eyes of the cops on us as we drove by, staring, judging, wondering. "What am I?" he asked me, keeping his eyes forward. "Am I the bad guy now? Are you wishing you knew if I had drugs on the seat in the glove compartment? There's no telling, is there? You just can't tell." He gave the rearview mirror a nervous glance. "Are you wishing you knew what my friends in the back seat had in their pockets?" Blue and red lights came from nowhere, suddenly flashing behind us. "Uh-oh. What now, boy? What are you going to do?" "What am I going to do? Am I going to punch the gas, make a getaway? Or am I going to pull over and risk being shot? Am I worried about my family at home and hoping I don't make any mistakes? Or am I worried if a loaded gun is under my seat? Did I just now run out to make a drug deal? Or did I run out of the store late at night because my baby is out of milk? Or because I needed bread for their school lunches in the morning? Why am I out here so late at night?" He glanced over his shoulder, and the light shined brightly in his eyes. "Do I have a record? Am I a criminal? Are you going to go to jail tonight because you're in the car with me? Are you going to be shot because you're with me?" Slamming his fist on the dash, he hit the figurine so hard the head snapped off, causing it to fly across the car, bouncing off the windows before disappearing into the back seat. Answer me now. Are you going to let go? Or are you going to be shot because we accidentally sneezed while their knees were pressed on our faces in the concrete?" He placed a finger to my temple. Bam. The anger vanished from his eyes, and he returned his gaze to the dark street, the lights behind us now gone. "Too late," he said. "You didn't have time to think about it. Now we're both dead. And I was only after bread." He smiled again, shaking his head. "I love my job. It's so easy to use fear against people. The media helps a lot with this, and so does gossip. If I want to believe it, all I must do is feed their beliefs and thus grow their fears. Little whispers in their ears. That's all it takes." Then, "Why are you showing me both sides?" I asked. Glanced in the mirror, and I was thankful the lights were gone. "Because I've already won," it said. They've already been manipulated to a point where nothing you or anyone else matters. I win, they lose. That's all that matters. Everything vanished as quickly as it appeared, and I found myself in the middle of the alley where I first started following him. He was now wearing the suit again, standing there looking back at me. And just think, boy, we haven't even left the alley yet. He tilted his head to the side. You sure you want to do this? Find out how easily fear can be used against them? Find out how easily it is to mislead them, misinform them, use emotions and media and their own raisins against them? I'm positive, I lied. He held my gaze for a few moments before nodding. All right then, let's see if we can find something else tonight. There's much to do and only a short time to do it. We need to get moving. With another nervous breath, I quickly began following him again, this time coming up to a common house in the middle of town. The yard was perfect, and the sprinklers were going at the exact same time the city requested them to be used. Where are we? You're about to find out, he said, giving another perfect smile. With a sudden feeling of trust, I nodded and followed him without even second guessing.